Okay. So in today's video, I want to highlight Ryan Clark calling out LeBron James for confronting Stephen A. Smith. Ryan Clark even said, like, yo, you didn't even run up on Skip Bayless. I want to get more into that clip. Also, Channing Crowder, he has some things to say as well. He's very critical of Bronny James, and he has been critical of LeBron. So let's check out what Channing Crowder had to say first, and then I'll follow up with Ryan Clark's opinion. Let's check out this clip right here.
I'm on Stephen A's side. You're a grown man. You're a professional athlete. You can be evaluated as a professional athlete, and I've said it, and I'll re-say it. Bronny James is not an NBA player. He's on that team because of his father. How can you look at this professional athlete, which Bronny is? I see him sitting on the bench where he should be. Sorry, Bron. Where he should be. And Stephen A is saying exactly what everybody thinks. That's the thing I hate. And that's why I think, honestly, like, that's my media career, saying, like, oh, Crowder gonna say what people ain't thinking about. I've heard, and the one thing I love about Ryan, he knows this, is that you're gonna say what you feel, and then if that human being walks up on you, you're gonna justify it in a very articulate, fact-filled way.
Yeah.
And Stephen A can do that with Bronny, and that's what I'm saying. Man, I have no problem with Bronny. Bronny want to come down to Miami, head to Tootsie's. We will ride and have a good time. But Bronny, you should not be in the NBA. He's not made like that. You're not your father.
Bronny James, for a 55th overall pick, for a guy who's played well in the G League and been on the bench and got, some minutes in the NBA, he is more negatively critiqued and analyzed than any player who would be picked in that position that does the job the way that he does it. But drafted in a place that his resume probably didn't say he should have been drafted in. He's also benefited in NIL when he only averaged 4 points a game. He has marketing and commercials and publicity and following. How does LeBron running up on Stephen A help the narrative? It doesn't. Because the narrative was he's there because of you. Now all of a sudden we can't talk about him either. The problem is this. You ain't run up on Skip all them years he was talking about you. You ain't run up on everybody else all that time he was talking about you. And if you're going to run up on everybody that says Bronny James didn't deserve to be drafted where he was drafted at, you're going to have to do a whole lot of damn fighting.
Okay, so I was looking at the feedback with Ryan Clark calling out LeBron. He's talking about Bronny James' G League performance. And to me, that separates with what Stephen A. Smith was doing, right? And I think people that's trying to defend Stephen A. Smith, they need to really realize how Stephen A. Smith went about how he had covered Bronny James.
Bronny James has played in 13 NBA games. Ladies and gentlemen, he's averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. He shot 1 for 16 from the field in his NBA career and 0 for 7 from three-point range. And he's playing in the first quarter of an NBA game.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad.
There's things that he didn't have to do. For him to be like, yo, the only reason why I talked about it is because SportsCenter highlighted his numbers.
Now you got to go to the G League and earn your stripes. Instead, he's playing and playing and playing. And I'm getting stats. And he go against Philly. They put him in the first quarter. Tyrese and them gave it to him. And then they plaster on SportsCenter 0.3 points, 0.3 rebounds, 0.4 assists, blah, blah, blah. And I said, damn. Why? Because I'm like, now I can't ignore it. Because how am I doing my job? If now you put me in a position where because they put the stats up, everyone is blowing it up. They're putting it on all their social media pages. And it's like, how all of that's happening, but Stephen A. Smith got nothing to say?
That's Stephen A. Smith trying to throw SportsCenter under the bus. Instead of him saying, like, yo, I have my own opinion, he could have went on there and said, like, hey, I know SportsCenter highlighted Bronny James' numbers, but, the only reason why Bronny James is in the game is because Lakers, they're dealing with injuries at the time. That was Anthony Davis last game, and AD went down. They had other couple players that were hurt, and Bronny James is only getting put in the game during blowout minutes. It's not like Bronny is getting put in the game during crunch time where it's like, yo, we need a bucket. Let's put Bronny in, and like he's this guy that's about to save the team and he's about to win us games. That's how Stephen A. Smith paints the narrative, right? And nobody is really calling him out on that because they allow Stephen A. Smith to constantly change the narrative, play victim, And that's what he's been doing while he's been talking about this LeBron James thing. And that's his character. He does this every time he gets checked. He changes his tune, and then he tries to find ways to manipulate the subject. And now he's just trying to escape the reality of what happened. And the reality is you got checked. You didn't do a damn thing about it. And that's it at the end of the day. You know, we can move on from it as far as just him. Now we see this guy on Fox News. And I said this in the first video I had said, when you don't check Stephen A. Smith on the shit that he's saying, and if you have a problem with it, he will continue to go on multiple platforms and spew out the same narratives that doesn't need to be put out. And the way that he was covering Bronny, it was just disingenuous. You know, he didn't have to cover Bronny James the way that he did. And it's not saying Bronny is above critique. Critiquing is different than trying to paint a narrative, doing a full show on Bronny James. And then also, you just talked about the same topics on First Take First before you went to your podcast show. Your podcast show is stuff that you can control, right? Like, you can control the topics. You don't have to talk about Bronny James on your podcast. You don't have to talk about somebody that's scoring 0 points in 2 minutes. You know, he's only getting like 2 minutes a game. He does get put in an NBA game. It's only like for a couple of minutes, right? So you don't have to do that. But the fact that Stephen A. Smith ran his entire show doing that, Bronny James is a topic, is the thumbnail, and, you know, as he's using Bronny name for clicks. And that's the reason why they only talk about Bronny and not the other NBA draft picks when you got other top 5 draft picks averaging only 4 points. So now it's like, yo, this does seem personal. If LeBron is not going to do it, nobody else will, because they let Stephen A. Smith get away with this for quite some time now. He is the same guy. When him and Kyrie have personal issues, he lied on national television. Oh, it's not personal. He even argued with Jay Williams about it. It's not personal. It's not personal. But yet, he had finally revealed it was personal. It got so serious that, you know, Kyrie Irving's dad had to check him at a game. And that's the reason why Stephen A. Smith stopped, because Kyrie's dad had checked him. But nobody is not going to say, oh, why Kyrie not checking Stephen A.? Kyrie a grown-ass man. Why Kyrie dad got to handle Kyrie problems? Kevin Durant mom had to confront Stephen A. Smith. And ever since she had checked Stephen A. Smith for that shit that he had did on ESPN First Take, sending live threats saying, oh, you do not want to make an enemy out of me, and I'm at the games.
The need to call him on it, I couldn't let it go. And from now on, this implication that I don't know stuff, y'all better think twice about that. Because when these NBA games come, you're going to see me at these arenas. And remember what I said to you. I can find out more in 10 minutes at a basketball arena than I can on the phone with 50 different people inside of 2 weeks. Think about that and ask yourself, do you really want to go there? But I will say this lastly, you don't want to make an enemy out of me. And I'm looking right into the camera, and I'm going to say it again. You do not want to make an enemy out of me. I'm not having it.
And the same shit that he was saying about Kyrie, basically.
We were at the Staples Center. And Kyrie rolls up on me. He taps me on the back, and he's like, you still got that same energy face to face? I said, I'm standing here, ain't I? You never saw me at games. For the better part of the last 25 years, I've been at an average of 120 games a year. You ain't seen me. You didn't see me sitting courtside with your former owner. You didn't see me at a couple of Phoenix games. You didn't see me there. Kobe could vouch for this. D. Wade could vouch for this. CP could vouch for this. Melo, others. There's a lot of people that could vouch for this. All you got to do is come talk to me.
That's it.
You don't, I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to. We could cuss each other out. You know, it doesn't matter. He's a man.
Right.
And it's like you gonna deal with him on the real. MJ, another cat. Real.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
Let's not ignore the level of physicality that once existed in the NBA. These brothers, Molly, would roll up. They'd find you in a hotel lobby or a restaurant before the game. It wasn't talk. In the game, it was physical. Off the court, it would be physical. I mean, they saw each other. You see what I'm saying? LeBron and I had to deal with that. You could come to me, and it could be real. If I say something publicly wrong, I'm not going to apologize privately.
He does the same stuff, man, and people just allow him to get away with it. And like I said, every time he gets checked, he changes his tune. He started changing his tune about Kevin Durant. That's why he doesn't really commentate on Kevin Durant like that. And he doesn't have that same tune that he once did when he does talk about KD. But that's it for today's video, guys. If you stuck around this long, hit that like button. That really does help support my YouTube channel. Catch you guys on the next one, and we out, guys. Peace.